Okay, hello. My name is Christopher Bertrand. I am here to present medreferral. So, what is medreferral? It's essentially a web application that provides user the convenience to find anything that is related to, pharma or like medicine facilities or anything that related to health. Currently, the application only has two things that are the main point: the medicine finder and the facilities finder. And inside that medicine finder, we also have a smart product analysis. I'm just gonna go through it very quickly. So what it does basically, it has the data of all the legal um, how do you call all the legal medicines or pharma products that exist in Malaysia because our scope is Malaysia, and this allows user to identify or like to try and find any like for example insulin, any like competitors or like any new brands or any other possible options that they could probably find, things like that. Other than that, the features that we also have is like look up online stores, try to find insulin. Currently, there is an insulin that Watson gives. Probably that's probably like milk, for example, and then try to find yeah this one right over here. Basically, that's how it's going to function. Basically, and then once you actually have that, you could actually make a comparison between those products. For example, we make a comparison between products, and the products are allowed they have like variables such as rating, sold count, price, things like that, that is actually quite relevant to people's decision making. Or example, ideally you're going to like evaluate like five of the same similar products. For example, let's assume these five products are insulin, and then you're trying to compare them based on rating and based on sold count, based on pricing. You could also change the weight of these. And yeah, that's basically the function. This is just a product comparison tool that allows user to for it to be convenient for their judgment later on, and they're able to save these products. And yeah, other than that, the second function right over here is to the facilities finders. Basically, in Malaysia, there's in total, well, based on the OpenStreetMap API, there's 3,911 medical facilities that is divided by into hospitals, clinics, pharmacies, doctors, dentists. It's not complete. This is just a demo, but yeah, it's basically functions like that. So what it does is basically it allows user to quickly identify like anything that is relevant, that or like what they desire or what they actually need. For example, what I need is a chiropractor. I'm just gonna write chiro. There's probably like relevant clinics or other stuff like that that provides like chiropractic uh, um, therapy or things like that. That's essentially the main goal of this thing is essentially to provide the most convenient way to try and find like any, whether it's a doctor, whether it's a hospital, clinic, etc. Or for example, like after you actually in this case like find the products that is and the store is Watson, you could actually go back over here to facilities finder and try to find like for example Watson. In total, there's like 70 pharmacies of Watson, and you can find which is near you. Uh, I haven't provided this search near my location because currently I'm not in Malaysia, so this search my location is not working. I should have put allowed user to input on the map, but yeah, that's fine. It's basically how it's going to work. And try to search my new location, the my location, and try to find what is nearest to me, like the Watson store and stuff like that. Other than that, you could also, for example, if there's a particular pharmacy, or whether it's for example a hospital that I try to go to. For example, I'm just going to try and click a doctor. Hold on, clear. Okay. For example, right over here, I'm going to try to find a doctor. And yeah, right over here. And I'm trying to find, for example, the phone or the website relevant to that particular hospital, stuff like that. And yeah, that's going to be the most important parts. Later in the future, you could also add ratings and stuff like that. There's a lot of ways that you could improve this. So what essentially this application does is essentially provides the convenience to the user to try and find anything relevant to pharmaceutical products or facilities or essentially anything that is relevant to health. You could also add more features later on that just makes it a much more convenient platform. That's why the selling point of this type of application is probably going to be convenience as a service, and providing convenience for comparing products, for providing convenience to find doctors, providing convenience to what else. You could also provide things like this, which is essentially just a somewhat of a blog or a newsletter where you could also provide it like weekly or something like that, where you provide health facts that is relevant to that particular patient or user, and you could later on you could customize to make it much more personalized, where you the user can provide their like health records and stuff like that, and you could go on and on with it. Other than that, the features, the core technologies that we use, this is web application. The front end uses React, the back end uses Node.js, and there's a lot of data mining that is performed, and even web scraping. Um, Value proposition, again, this is a convenience as a service. You try to make it as easy as possible for the user to try and, try to find products, try to find the right facilities, try to communicate with new doctors, try to find new doctors. Oh, my chiropractor isn't that good. I'm trying to find another chiropractor who might be much more better, have a higher rating, things like that. That is solely focused on healthcare, and it is much more powerful. And visualization, again, visualization, we use the mappings, we use tables, mapping, and graphs. Those are probably the one of the main points, and also like comparison tables right over here. These are like some of the main forms of visualization. User feedback, yeah, these are the user feedbacks. Well, we don't have testing. Well, if user feedback means like how the application provides information to the user, yeah, it's in the form of like this, in the form of the maps and the details that are necessary. What are the necessary details? Where the location, where the address is, where the phone is, the phone number of a particular clinic, the website of a particular clinic, for example. Those are some of the important parts. And other than that, like ratings of a particular product, ratings of a particular doctor or like a hospital, stuff like that. Yeah, that's basically how this application works, how it provides user feedback. Business model, ideally, it might be a better off like a freemium model, or like a, or not, you could technically use it like a Wall Street Journal type of style. Yeah, you basically require the user to pay to actually use it, or either that or a freemium model. It's basically how it works. Implementation and feasibility. The only implementation issue is definitely like things like web crawler is probably not allowed. For example, this data is completely free in Malaysia. Probably it's not the most complete data, but it's still relevant enough. Other than that, if things like web crawler, you probably need the consent of like, for example, Watson or Shopee or stuff like that in production, during production. This one is much more feasible technically. Um, um, this one we use external data, external open source data. So in the future, probably in production, you might need it to develop your own data, or like try to you know create your own, like store it in your database. We can use like the base this as a base, and then like try to find more data, whether it's the phone number, the website, stuff like that. We try to make it better. Mm, Again, data and compliance, I've told before, um, the only problem that you will probably find is the web scraper in production, because I don't think that that is actually, yeah, I've read the robots.txt. It's not allowed. This is just a demo, that's why I'm using it. But in the future, you have to, for example, communicate to possibly applications, or like companies to, for example, like to work together and like possibly gain like permission for like utilizing their data. Ideally, you could like um, um, allow the particular like we work together with another company, and the company provides us the data and we store it. So for example, per day updates, or per any type of like timely updates. So the application, so we don't actually take too much API from them, so they won't like complain much about it, and we actually store it ourselves. I think that's fine. Like we make it like a daily data. I don't think that's the worst type of idea. We could definitely think more about it. And yeah, that's basically how this works. Thank you for your time.